Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm Mysticle, and today I'm going to bring you the latest in AR and VR news. You're going to have to excuse the loud humming noise in the background in case you can hear it. That's the AC, which unfortunately has to stay on. It is currently 30-something degrees, and indoors it's even worse. While that might not be a lot for a lot of you, for someone who comes from Ireland, where on a nice summer day it's 18 degrees, the AC is staying on. Anyway, without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. First thing I've got for you guys on the table is some Samsung VR headset leaks. Now, the Samsung VR headset has been in the works for a long time, and it's one that a lot of people are very excited for because three of some of the largest companies inside technology are working on this all together, which is Google, Samsung, and Qualcomm. And we now have apparent images and specs of the Samsung headset prototype, which has leaked. The prototype shown has 4 tracking cameras with a similar placement to the Quest 2, but apparently uses pancake lenses to achieve a visor thickness more like the Quest 3. And like the Quest 3, it apparently also has dual RGB cameras for color pass-through and a depth sensor for environmental understanding, and better, hand tracking. This is very exciting, all these new headsets coming out with pancake lenses and full RGB color pass-through, allowing us for a much smaller headset and a much lighter headset therefore, hopefully being a lot more comfortable, and also allowing for a lot better AR capabilities. So this is looking fantastic so far. It apparently features OLED micro displays and Samsung's own Exynos 2200 chip from 2022, which is more powerful than Qualcomm's Snapdragon XR2 Gen 1 used in the Quest 2 and Pico 4, but less powerful than the XR2 Gen 2 set to debut in the Quest 3 later this year. And as Gyro points out, the Exynos 2200 in smartphones has been criticized for relatively high power consumption and overheating. So I guess we will just have to wait and see how stable the Exynos 2200 is going to be inside this headset. The outlet claims the headset lacks tracked controllers, instead relying on hand tracking and eye tracking integration like the Apple Vision Pro. Another very big downside for a lot of people. Maybe in the future you will be able to purchase additional controllers for this device. I would see it as a very big downside if you couldn't. It's just limiting yourself by a lot. Even if the device does originally come without controllers, it would be nice to be able to buy those as an additional accessory. The report suggests Samsung will position its headset somewhere between the Quest 3 and the Apple Vision Pro, around $1,000 to $2,000. Yeah, again, quite an interesting device coming up. This is not going to compete with any of the cheaper devices, especially at that price tag, and especially if it does end up coming without controllers. Let me know your opinion on the Samsung headset down below. Are you interested? Is this something you are going to think about buying? And what do you think its software is going to look like, considering this is going to be a partnership with Google? Hopefully, we don't get another Meta clone. The Immersed Visor, which is another new headset that is currently being worked on, and we talked about in a previous video right up here, it's going to have 4K per eye, and now will apparently also have hand and eye tracking. This is a headset with 4K per eye OLED micro displays, inside-out tracking, and HD color pass-through that will release in 2024 with support for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Visor is the result of a strategic collaboration with Qualcomm on the device side, Intel on the PC side, and an undisclosed AR and VR tech giant that will be revealed later this year, which a lot of people think might be Huawei. This week, Immersed revealed the Visor will have eye tracking and shared a render of the lenses showing the infrared LEDs that illuminate your pupils for internal eye tracking cameras. The startup also announced the Visor will have hand tracking built in. Together, Immersed says these technologies will be used for a gaze and pinch interaction system similar to that of the Apple Vision Pro. Invitations to pre-order the Visor will be sent out later this year. Immersed says it will announce the price in the coming weeks. So far, it has only been said that it will be less than the $3,500 of Apple's Vision Pro, and I would seriously hope that this would be the case. So hand tracking will be sort of necessary here. I can see that being an important part of productivity, and eye tracking will also be really nice if they get that gaze and pinch gesture down correctly, and if the eye tracking works really well. This is something that I see quite a few people picking up, depending on the price tag and depending on whether they can deliver all the specs that they claim to have. Now, I do think this is going to have to be quite a bit less than the Apple Vision Pro for people to go for this, simply because of the fact that the Apple Vision Pro is going to have iOS apps natively, apparently. Meta has showcased those cool prototype headsets that we talked about in a previous video, and Upload VR got to try them. The Butterscotch prototype delivers an angular resolution of 56 pixels per degree of your vision, just short of the 60 pixels per degree generally accepted to be see what the human eye can discern. That's almost 3 times the central angular resolution of the Quest Pro and double that of the big screen beyond. Meta's researchers don't achieve this angular resolution with any breakthrough or specialized technology, however. The Butterscotch headsets use off-the-shelf 2880 by 2880 LCD displays that would deliver roughly 30 ppd in a typical VR headset, but they pair them with lenses with around half the field of view. The purpose here is to demonstrate what retinal resolution feels like to eventually inform future product priority and trade-off decisions. The prototype is not meant to propose any specific new type of technology for achieving retinal resolution at an acceptable field of view. As the name suggests though, Butterscotch Variofocal isn't just a demonstration of retinal resolution. It also includes the Variofocal technology from Meta's 2018 half-dome prototype. This is tech that I was super excited for. In VR, each eye gets a separate perspective, so you get stereo disparity. But that's just one cue your brain uses in order to determine depth. All current VR headsets on the market have fixed focus lenses. The image is focused at a fixed distance, usually a few meters. Your eyes will converge towards virtual objects, but can't actually focus, accommodate to the virtual distance to them. This is called vergence accommodation conflict, and it causes eye strain and can make virtual objects look blurry close up. The half-dome prototype presented a solution. Track which virtual object your eyes are looking at and rapidly mechanically move the display panels backwards and forwards to dynamically adjust focus to its distance. Butterscotch Variofocal includes the same eye tracking and mechanical actuators. Now, this is a solution to the problem, but if you ask me, it's not the perfect solution to the problem. This is introducing more mechanical parts, and I tend to not agree with that. The more mechanical parts you introduce into a product, the more points of failure you add. That, and this also cannot be seen as something that will be slim and light, which is something a lot of people are looking for in headsets right now. I also imagine those mechanical parts are going to be drawing more power, which in turn requires a larger battery, and in a standalone headset wouldn't necessarily work the best. Now, this is a prototype. That's why it's called a prototype. They're not putting this into a headset right now, and it's a step in the right direction to relieve eye strain and a lot of other things in virtual reality as well, make it feel just a lot more comfortable and allow you to be immersed better, which is a great thing. I do think we are heading in the correct direction, but if it is going to need to be this thick and this bulky, then I don't think a lot of people would agree with it. I think a lot of people would just want to stay with what we have right now, even though the difference is quite severe. But let me know your opinions down below. What I have for you now is some game news, as seasoned VR dev raises $1.6 million for a new studio focused on a virtual pet experience. Wind Up Minds is a newly announced XR studio which has raised $1.6 million seed investment for immersive experiences focused on virtual pets and companions. I actually used to play that one game on Nintendo quite a bit, where you would have virtual pets. I think it was virtual dogs back in the day when I was a kid, and I do remember that that was something that I played quite a bit, so I can see people enjoying that in virtual reality quite a bit more. As the studio says, it plans to launch a virtual creature experience for mixed and virtual reality platforms, indicating a focus on pet-like virtual companions. The studio believes the combination of immersive XR and modern AI can create virtual companions that feel more real than any that have existed to date. I certainly agree with this with our current boost in AI, and now with also mixed reality headsets coming out like the Quest 3, for example, you could basically have a virtual pet there with you as you're playing augmented reality on the Quest 3 in the room with you, which hasn't really been possible until now. Yeah, you could use your phone, yeah, you could use, say, the Nintendo, but the cameras on that were nothing like they will be on the Quest 3, and it wasn't exactly something you were wearing on your face and could see at all times. So I do agree here, this could be an experience like nothing we have seen before, and I'm quite excited to see what they come up with. Resolution Games opens their closed beta applications for Racket Club. The beta will take place over 4 days, from August 31st to September 3rd, and will be available for the Quest 2, with players able to play as much as they like during the beta period. Players will be able to find singles and doubles matches via matchmaking, or queue up with friends who are also participating in the beta. The single-player story mode, career, and training/bots mode, private, will be available for the entirety of the beta, while the titular club, a social space to meet and head up against other players, will only be available for the last 2 days. Resolution also requires that all players sign a non-disclosure agreement ahead of participating in the beta. Those who participate will also receive receive exclusive rewards as a thank you. So this essentially means that Resolution Games is getting closer and closer to releasing the full version of Racket Club. I am very excited to see Resolution Games working on more titles, as the titles they have produced to date have been absolutely fantastic. And hopefully this one will be no different. The collaborative spatial design app ShapesXR has raised $8.6 million, expanding to the Apple Vision Pro and other headsets. ShapesXR is a collaborative spatial design app built to make it easier to prototype spatial interfaces, interactions, and environments. While so many VR interfaces and interactions borrow heavily, if not entirely, from existing flat design pentagrams, ShapesXR is built on the premise that in order to build spatial applications, you need spatial designer tools. With that in mind, the app functions like a free-form canvas that allows users to mock up designs inside VR to understand how everything fits together at scale and in 3D. With collaborative functionality, multiple people can work on projects simultaneously. I do agree with this. I 100% agree with this. We are working in a 6DoF space, a fully three-dimensional space. We can pick things up, move them around. We should be able to press buttons. We should be able to have 3D interfaces. However, that is not yet the case. If we could build these inside virtual reality, I do think that developers would have more freedom. However, I'm not a developer, so I wouldn't know. That's just the way it looks to me from an outside perspective. And hopefully this will make it better for us, the end users, in the future. And finally, Glassbreaker's Championships of Moss is Polyarch's competitive multiplayer game. If you guys liked the Moss games, you now have a chance of playing that in a competitive multiplayer title. Set in the same universe as the single-player adventures Moss and Moss Book 2, Glassbreakers takes a considerably different approach, described as an MOBA like Real-Time Battler by Polyarch. It marks the studio's first venture into competitive VR multiplayer. The announcement doesn't tell us much else, though an August 29th showcase promises a first look at gameplay, dev talks, and a new trailer. So yeah, if you guys liked the Moss games, this is something to be looking forward to, and hopefully on the 29th we will get to see some really cool gameplay. And talking about games, if you guys are looking for cheap VR titles, make sure to check out the Humble Bundle I have linked for you down below. That is an affiliate link, so if you want to support the channel, you can use the affiliate link. They've got a great racing bundle right now. A lot of those titles are supported by virtual reality, and you can get them really, really cheap. Either way though, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. You're all absolutely incredible. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please do leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess this button works too, but let me know why down below. If you guys are not yet part of our community, check out our Discord and our Reddit down below, where I want to see you post your spice memes. And thank you so much to all the lovely names going off to my right. Those guys are my Patreons, and you guys are helping me out so much in these times when I still haven't fully moved. Much love. And as usual, if you guys want to be notified of future content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack the subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace. There's no lights, and I am literally walking in the middle of a road to get home.